Welcome back to the Working Audio Tools podcast, the home of all things mixing. In this episode, we're going to be reviewing a somewhat heavy weekend of networking. Paul came down to London, stayed at mine, and we visited GearFest on Saturday, CanJam on Sunday, and a couple of studios on the Monday. Paul, I needed a day off yesterday. That weekend was full on, but it was full of wonderful people, amazing gear, and incredible contact-making opportunities. How did you feel?
Yeah, I was so shattered yesterday, and my brain was just frazzled. It was funny because near the end, like when we went to see Al Lawson and Leo Sargon, we were in the van driving, and I could barely even get words out. My brain was so slow. And I remember me and Ed were like in a boozer in London, and the two of us were just like, our brains were like working at like 75%. Oh, what's that word? Yeah.
Autopilot you were on at one point when you called me babe over a pint. So I'm not sure you're talking to Laura here, mate.
I was going, my
I
brain
may be
was
as
like...
good looking, but you know.
I know, fucking Laura's getting worried now. After hearing about Head in the studio, she was like, you didn't go to Ed's studio, did you? You didn't go to Ed's studio, did you?
No, we did not have time. Let's start with GearFest, because GearFest for me was mad. We were walking around and we literally could not go further than 10 meters without meeting someone we knew or getting collared and speaking to someone and meeting new people, which was amazing. And actually, I don't know, my social battery just seemed to be on form all day. So thank you to everyone who came up and introduced themselves and said hello. We had a lot of love for the podcast, which was really nice to hear in person and not just in the comments. And we really appreciated that. So thank you for the continued support. Now, first stop, tradition for us at GearFest now, is to go to the PMC room and hear their big, beefy system, which, as we knew, was impressive. Then we went to the Alcons room again, and third year in a row, they are man of the match. I think what they've achieved with their new 10-inch speakers is just remarkable. And when you go in there and hear how clean those speakers are, it makes every other speaker, it highlights how coloured every other speaker is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I love going down there. It's funny because I love it because the engineer, like the main engineer, is so geeky. He talks your absolute ear off. For Ed, it's a little bit more difficult because like, let me hear the speakers, let me hear the fucking speakers. But I'm like, no, go tell me all the tech stuff. But I do quite like that because before I hear something, it's good to know that the engineers that are working on this, I'm like, they know their stuff. I mean, in regards to like how they sound and like compare that to like all the info and all the tech that the lead engineer was telling us about, it all matches up. Like there's no bullshit with Alcon. Like they say what they mean, and I didn't think it was possible to make those three ways better, but they genuinely did. The image was there again, and it was just the transient details were there. It was just super clear and crisp and uncoloured, unhyped, natural. It was just unbelievable. It's an unbelievable experience, and again, they knocked it out of the park. 2 years on the trot for me. And then somebody told me the price, and I was like...
Well, I was going to mention the price. I don't think it's that bad. The 5-inch models are available now. They are in the marketplace. The 10 inches are a little way off still, I think, but soon to be launched. And Lawrence said to me their price would be £12,500. I was also impressed with the PDP MB10s, MB standing for meter bridge, so this is a horizontal speakers, and actually I felt, maybe it was the room, but I think they're the PDP's best speaker. Yeah,
it's annoying because I didn't get a chance to listen to them, because as always, in this now GearFest tradition, the PDP room is fucking impossible to get in. Every time I look at it, I'm like, no, there's about 5 people in there and everybody's like hunched up like sardines.
Probably
and I'm
the
like, I'm not doing that.
Room there. Yeah,
I'm not doing that. But again, I have heard them in the PDP studio, and I remember they did have the 10s when we were there. However, they didn't have the MBs, and it was interesting because I watched a bit of Mark and James live stream, and they were saying that the feedback that they got was that many people felt that the MBs in that room actually had better bass. which is quite
that's
quite
what I felt.
interesting. Yeah, it's quite
That's what I
interesting. Yeah.
So where the 10s are very neutral and there's low amounts of sustain in the vertical 10s, the 10MBs have more of that, I felt. So that's for me why I felt they work better. We heard the huge PSI system.
Yes.
Moving on.
Yes.
And we heard the Tantrum very mean sub, which I think as a subwoofer is great. I think what Tom's done there is create a really, well, as you said, it's a great crossover, isn't it? It's a nice sounding system. But for me, that the Angry Boxes, the point of them is that they're a bandpass speaker from 100 to 10K. That's the point of them for me, as my video review describes and goes into more detail why that's so important. For me, they're a standalone speaker, so the sub is a good addition, but I don't feel like I need it in my studio.
I really liked it. What I really, really loved about the sub edition was, obviously, Tom is an incredible engineer. What Tom did a remarkable job at was just, getting the crossover bang on to where it genuinely feels like a full system. And, I love it when you could switch a sub on and off and you don't hear the crossover. A lot of times when I've been in certain rooms and, you've switched the sub on and off, you can hear that, it's a sub and tops, where what Tom did a remarkable job at was making it feel like a full system, which I enjoyed because there's elements of the Angry Boxes that's quite good where, because you've not got the subs, you can hear how your upper bass, your mid bass, is going to translate, to speakers that don't have any sub in there. So again, that's a really handy trick to use. But being able to switch that on and off was really quite a good tool for me, because I'm like, right, one, it's very hard to get, a lot of low end, in normal main speakers. So having an actual dedicated subwoofer is great because you could have that sub, right, listen quickly, right, how's the sub sounding in the room, and then take it off. And it's just, I think it's going to be an amazing tool just to be able to judge your low end in your room, but also, again, get the, the brutalness of just having a bandpass speaker that's kind of basically like an ATC driver. And again, you've not got the top end as well, which is something that you don't realise how much top end is in stuff until you take it away with the Angry Boxes and you've just got that exposed mid-range. So I won't go too much further about it, but I just think he did a fantastic job. And I said to Tom, I would really like to get the sub in, and he was telling me how you could make a switcher for it and relatively cheap. So I'd probably make a switcher for
Amazon.
it.
Yep, great speakers. Good job, Tom. I mean, what else was there for you that stood out?
I didn't get a chance to try out the AudioScape again because every time I went, it's just so busy. So I didn't get a chance to try out the stay level and the BA6A, which I was quite disappointed at. I got a chance to see the new SSL console. Again, Paul Ashmore from Audio Animals, he was like there in the demo booth. Again, I listened to the Amphions again. I think, was it the new Amphions? Did they have the new Amphions there, or was that the older ones I was listening to?
That was the X series that they had in that same room as SX Pro.
Yeah, so that was interesting, even though, again, it's not an ideal room for it. What was interesting with the sub, I was able to listen to a few tracks I know well, and it reminded me very much like when we were in MSM's old room with his Amphion and his sub, and it just had that sound. I didn't really feel like it sounded much different from my memory, but again, I don't have an AB. But I think again it was good to hear them again. But I found
the sub extension of the Amphions again, like the Angry Boxes, is so natural, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's something for me where I said to Edward, we'll get into Leo's room because there's something that we have to change our perception and our opinion on something that we talked very controversially about last year. But when we were in Leo's room, he has his Amphion, was it 115s that he's got in there? Yeah, 115s.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But in the room, I just felt that it reminded me how important with Amphions the sub is. Like for me, the sound that I like of Amphions is Amphions with the sub. I think the sub does a massive job for that kind of full range sound. So it was good to hear them again. But I think that was it. I think I'd already heard a lot of stuff, but it was more networking. It was more again meeting people, and again having a good crack and a good banter, and just Networking again. As we say it all the time, GearFest is arguably the best place in the UK for, networking with other audio engineers. Fantastic for that.
Yeah, making friends, hanging out with old friends. Good day all round. DistroKid sponsor the Working Audio Tools podcast, and you can get 30% off your first year's subscription using the VIP link in the YouTube video description and podcast show notes. DistroKid makes distribution of your music easy with unlimited uploads, and you get to keep 100% of your royalties and earnings. Join over 1 million artists who rely on DistroKid to get their music into Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, TikTok, Tidal, Instagram, and all other streaming platforms now and in the future. The new DistroKid app is available on iOS. Go and download it from the App Store now. From here, you can upload new releases. You can see your DistroKid earnings and withdraw these earnings. You can view and share your hyperfollow links. You can check your streaming statistics from Spotify and Apple, and even add and edit lyrics and song titles. So keep track of your releases on the move with the new DistroKid app, available on iOS. Download it from the App Store now. Sunday, we went to CanJam, and we didn't even walk in the room until you got recognised.
I know, straight away.
That was good. That was a gentleman called Tom from Scan, who I think we're going to be working with in the future. Not
Very
on the podcast,
closely.
but on Mixed Phones and on Paul's channel and my channel, which would be great. And then we went straight over to the topping stand, and I had the absolute pleasure of hearing their A900 and D900 DAC and amp system with the Dan Clarke Stealths. And that, to me, I think is the ultimate setup of headphones and amps. I mean, that's $3,000 worth of DAC amp, and it's $5,000 worth of headphones.
Yeah, about that.
And the only thing I would do to the Dan Clarks is add maybe a 2 dB shelf boost in the low end, and then that's just the perfect headphone system.
Yeah, I was so frustrating for me at CanJam, because as soon as I got there, because I bumped into Tom as soon as we were getting our passes, and I was like, oh, okay, Tom's way to introduce me to a lot of people, because Tom knows everybody, again, being a distributor. And
Paul became the least autistic I've ever seen him and was on absolute mission business mode.
Proper business mode. Because it was the thing where I was like, right, here's like the rep from Dan Clarke, here's a rep from Topping. Again, here's, I was bumping into everybody. And yeah, there was a lot of interesting conversations. And without saying too much, I could basically say that if I want to try something in the studio, I can get my hands on it now. Pretty much anything, which is good for everybody. It's good for the community. It's good, because again, everybody goes, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you compared this to that? I'll be able to do that now. So if I've had my eye on something and I felt like a certain comparison would work well, or again, everybody wanted my opinion on a certain pair of headphones, Tom would be able to get it for me. And again, the contacts that we made would be able to get it as well. So yeah, Topping was great. Again, I was able to hear the DX5 Mark II, which is going to be arguably, I'm not going to give too much away because me and Emma are going to do a Mixed Phones review on it, but it's going to be, in my opinion, the best-selling DAC amp for the next fucking couple of years. Yeah. Easy.
It's priced perfectly. It's going to be the headphone amp. Can I give a bit of information away?
Okay, yeah, you can give a bit of information because you were there. You were there.
Yes, so we rave about the Topping DX7 Pro Plus, which they no longer make anymore. And that measures exceptionally well. Like this, what competes with the Lynx Hilo?
Yeah.
At $4,000. The DX5 II measures several decimal places better in terms of THD and like double, if not triple, the milliwatt power output. It's ridiculous. So ideal for driving planars very cleanly.
And it comes with the Topping tune, so it comes with the EQ DSP that I use with the D93 discrete as well. Yes,
that's a huge step forward in audio, and we're screaming at Audio Interface has been like, you need to have headphone calibrations on. Yeah. Yes, the Apollo Gen 2s have it, but limited to Sound ID, which we have feelings about.
Yeah.
Now, annoyingly with the Topping stuff, and we're pushing them on this, or we will be pushing them on this, and there's several other people, including their distributor, pushing them on this. They're PC-based, so the EQ thing is a PC-based software, but we are pushing for a Mac-based software, because if they want to break into Pro Audio, they have to facilitate Mac, otherwise it's redundant for a lot of people. Yeah. So But I'm sure Paul has a business idea in mind, which may include creating these profile curves and then selling them on his website, which I think is a genius idea.
For you. But that's what the Discord is for. That's what my Discord is for. And yeah, I've like, it's funny.
Pound the profile. How many?
Pound the profile.
Everyone's going to pay. Yeah, but download it as long as no one shares it. Oh, I said the C word. We literally discussed never having not said that in years.
So yeah, we seen the topping, and then we went to obviously Hifiman because Paul's, the Hifiman fanboy. Ed's, again, he's got the Nanos, Hifiman fanboy as well, with the Nanos. So Ed got to try lots of Hifimans, and a lot of new Hifimans that have came out. So they've brought out some more unveiled. They've brought out Ananda unveiled. It isn't the Nano unveiled, because I remember like Tom was showing me about, and I was like, I was at the Fiio booth as well, and it was great. The two gentlemen I was speaking from Fiio, they were from Scotland. And I was like, yes, I have Scottish bros in audio. So again, I'm going to like hit them up as well, because I think they've got a store in Musselburgh, I think. And then again, you've got Mark, who I've dealt with before from Stirling. He's like the main Hifiman rep for us, so it was great to meet him as well. It was a bit overwhelming for me, because it was like we had people from the Discord there. We had Tyrone there, we had Taz, we had Martin. Well, interesting story with Martin as well, because there is another headphone we'll get to very, very, very shortly. But everybody was like, Paul, have you tried this? 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 And I'm like, what's your opinion? What's your opinion, master? What's your opinion? And I'm like, I kind of need to have them EQ'd and stuff. But all I'll say is, without going too much into it, the takeaways for me was the Aria, no, I said this, yes, the Aria unveiled, because I keep on calling them organic unveiled. The Aria unveiled, for me, does sound out the box better than Aria organic. So I'm going to get a sent a pair of those. I didn't listen to the HE unveiled because I was just so overwhelmed, but I'm going to get sent a pair of HE unveiled.
I heard those, but I got confused with the HE SE, the HE 1000 V2s, and the HE 1000 unveiled.
It's confusing.
There's 3 different models now. I wish Hifiman would streamline this and just have like one model per type of headphone. But yes, the unveileds are exceptionally good on both fronts.
Very smooth, I think it's because, again, you've not got the resonances that you get from most open backs with having that kind of exposed kind of planar magnet. But the Aria unveiled was very, very good. And there was a headphone that Ed didn't like, and he was surprised that I did like it, and it was the HE600. So it's basically the modern version of the HE6 SE version 2. Now, the reason
sounded like an MM100 to me.
Now, the reason I liked it was because I could hear the dynamicism in it that I know a lot of the rimmed Hifimans get. It was just too bright. The stock, I could straight away, I just know when I see the frequency response of it, there's going to be way too much top end. It reminded me like even brighter than the Aria organic stock. So I think once EQ'd, I think that'll be a very good slamming dynamic headphone. It's just going to need a lot of top end and a lot of low end raised in it. So I'll be interested to hear the frequency response. But I think once EQ'd, because I think EQ'd, they're going to be good. But the one headphone that we are going to let you know about, that me and Ed and Tom from Scan think is going to be arguably one of the next big sellers from Hifiman, is the update, the brand new upgrade of the Edition XS. Me and Ed can't remember exactly if it's Edition XO or Edition XE or Edition whatever it is. It's Edition X something, but it's the upgrade to the Edition XS, and it's going to be retailing for £399. And price to performance ratio, even just out of the box, I think is fucking remarkable. The transient response is just so like clear and crisp. The imaging, again with the Edition XS, is like really wide. Timbre's better. Basically, all the things that I didn't like in the Edition XS have been fixed. It's got energy. It's got like it's transients. That's the one thing the Edition XS never had, was it's too forgiving and it's just not enough microdynamics and stuff. But yeah, price to performance, I think that's going to be a really, really good one.
As far as an introduction to planar headphones, very, very good, very competitive. And for me, the equivalent model from Audeze is the LCDXs, which are very good. I heard all the Audeze headphones that I wanted to hear this year, which was great. And the LCDXs are great. And they're, I think, £1,000 at the moment. And Yeah, this Edition X something is, I would say it's on par with that for less than half the price. It's incredible.
It's big picture. That's what I liked about it. Straight away, I was sitting there thinking, yeah, bit of EQ. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could like mix on this, like, and it could do basically everything I need it to do. So yeah, Audeze, it was, again, spoke to Chris from Audeze, Chris Behrens. That was a good chat. So there's talk about him coming on the podcast and kind of talking in detail about, you know, the tech differences.
On mix phones.
Yeah, mix phones. About the differences between LCD2, LCD-X, the MM500. Because I think many people are like, well, what's the difference between the LCD2 and the LCD-XC and the LCD-X and the MM500 and the MM100? And by the way, Ed, just so again, many people will ask, I think you shared your opinion on the MM500, the same opinion I've got, didn't you, when you heard the MM500?
Right. Let me shit sandwich this. Can I caveat when I say the Hifiman Edition XC, XX, whatever, being similar to the Audeze LCD? Because when I say similar, I don't mean the same. Before anyone fucking quotes me again. I get asked all the time, what are the MM500s like? And I really didn't like them. They sound stifled. They sound suffocated. To me, it felt like they had the hands tied behind their back performance-wise, and they were struggling. They were stuffy. And I don't think it's something EQ can fix. It's a performance issue. I actually preferred the MM100s, which I think work better. But in terms of, if I were to suggest an Audeze headphone for a reasonable budget, and I say reasonable, I don't mean to upset anyone that £100 is reasonable. I mean, let's be realistic. A professional tool costs money. It's about £1,000. The LCD-Xs, I can see why they're popular. I'm going to try and get hold of a copy and review them and compare them to the MX4s, which, as you know, are my favourite Audeze headphones. They're one of the best all-round headphones you can get, but I did try the LCD-5s, and I felt like I was in the room with the musicians recording.
The LCD-5s,
very special headphone.
Yeah. I'm annoyed I didn't try them. Honestly, there were so many headphones that I should have tried, but I was just, honestly, it was like Tom was introducing me to everybody, and it was conversation to conversation to conversation. And yeah, I was so annoyed because I know that the LCD-5s are the closest that I know to Harman. Like, they are genuinely, they think they just really need a bass boost, and that'd probably be it.
Yeah, I'd love to do a stealth, Dan Clarke stealth versus LCD-5, because I believe they're about the same price point. I think I know which one sounds more neutral and which one sounds more energetic. I think they both have their thing, but the LCD-5s, I literally felt like I had musicians on me. It's quite a surreal experience. Yeah, they're a magical headphone.
And for anybody asking, Paul, did you try any Dan Clarke? Yes, I did try the Noir X, and I did try the Noir XO, which is the open. Again, I'm not going to give too much away because of mixed phones, but I'm going to just say Noir X. Very interesting.
I have no comments because I forgot to try them.
Very, very, very interesting. Like,
I will be watching that review as well with bated breath.
Yeah. I'll give you a little thing that I can't remember if I told Ed about, but now Fiio are again an up-and-coming brand, and I
didn't get to that table, unfortunately.
I'll tell you something that I found really, really interesting about the Fiio K19, which me and Emra called the endgame DAC amp, because it can do everything. It can power any headphone, even the HE6 SE version 2, which my topping stack can't do linearly. As a DDCs with digital to digital conversion, so you could connect it digital ins and digital outs, so it could sit in the middle and connect to your interface, and then connect that to other DAC amps, and it's got EQ on it. Yeah, it could do everything. Now, I said to them, that really, in my opinion, shouldn't be an audiophile DAC amp. That should be like Audio Studio Pro DAC amp. That's where that market should be for you, because a lot of audiophiles aren't going to get it. Why am I going to spend all this money on a very, what they class as a sterile, clean, like linear, boring DAC amp with DDC and blah, 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 blah. I was like, look, that's fucking studio. They told me that they have managed to get the K19 into Abbey Road. That is a huge, huge move for Fiio. I don't know which studio they've got in, which room they've got it in, but whoever they've spoken to, they've sent it to the engineers at Abbey Road, and you now have audiophile DAC amps in arguably the most recognised studio for, professional audio in the world.
I just have visions of someone in a rain jacket smuggling one into the toilet and then claiming, yeah, we got it in Abbey Road, didn't it?
It's the photo, like, there it is. But yeah, that's a huge thing. Again, where
Focusrite managed to get a Scarlett into Real World Studios, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, very true. I know. But again, this is where we're going. This is why I'm so passionate about this stuff, because the studio world has been kind of misled. You know what I mean? Many people don't understand the quality of DAC amps and headphone amps and price to performance ratio and stuff. So yeah, that was really interesting. And then that brings us to the surprise star of the show, which
Before we go there, though, I would like to say we met Tom from Chord, who was very nice. And
you did. I'm so gutted. I
did
was
you not
so
meet
busy.
him?
No, I'm honestly, see, as soon as we left, I was like, I was meant to go to Chord, but I'd not eaten all day. And I was like, okay, let's go. I need to
Yeah, I forgot to go over to the Chord stand. But we know a lot of the Chord stuff from MSM, and I mean,
yeah, but I'm so gutted because Tom's like a diamond guy. I'm so annoyed I didn't go across.
Yeah, but I was happy when I met him. I said, he said, how you getting on with the Mojo? And I was like, what, this? And pulled it out of my pocket. And I was like, yeah. And then went around some headphones and I was playing with the EQ on it, and that was a great way to test headphones and do a very rapid EQ.
Yeah. So,
but the man of the match, possibly the man of the weekend, the product of the weekend for me, this blew my mind, and it was all thanks to Emra, who said, bro, come try these headphones. And he said, "Oh, they're like sorry, Emra, that was a terrible impression."
Turkish.
There's a Chinese company who have teamed up with a German company to create Sendy Audio, and they are doing planar magnetic headphones. And I heard their budget ones at £600, and I was like, "Ooh!" Again, in terms of LCDX comparison. And Hifiman X, Edition X, whatever it is. Very good competitive headphones. Beautiful headphones with like a wood chassis.
The most beautiful headphones I've ever seen. I've ever seen.
But then their flagship model, the Peacocks, £1,500. The most beautiful attention to detail aesthetically I've seen on a headphone. And I put them on and wow, the richness, the density, the transients, the center imaging, the stereo imaging, the cleanliness of them. I was thinking this is the MX4 on steroids, and it's half the price. Terrifyingly good. And I played around with my EQ and they just slammed and punched, and it's like anything now, I feel like I need to mix on them before I can really know a headphone. But in terms of sheer listening experience, I was like I might even buy these just because they sound so good.
And in regards to buying them, I had Martin from my Discord, and he watched us with bated breath. And I think he said he'd seen Emra, and then he watched me. And as soon as I was like nodding, and I just knew straight away, I was like, yeah, these are something. These are something special. £1,600, and I was like, that's the same price as the MM500s. Yeah,
15, I think, 14,
15, yeah, blows them out of the water. So I was like, right, okay, beautiful. Yeah, these are, need to get these. I was like, looking at the two Chinese guys, like, yes. Emra, do your thing. But do I have business cards? Do whatever. Get them. Martin stuck them on his head, was intently listening, and then just as we were about to leave, Ed had said to me, Martin's just inquired about the price and got them half price and bought them there and then. He bought the demo. He was that impressed with these Peacocks. He bought them there and then, half price. I think it was like £700 he got them for, and bought them there and then.
Yeah, and he bought the ones with the black inlays, and I was very tempted to go and offer the same. Well, I was going to haggle a bit and try and get it even lower for the gold inlay ones, and then I thought, no, hang on, I don't pay for stuff.
Exactly, you don't need to.
But I would. If they said, look, we can't sell you them, but we'll give you them for 500 quid, I would get them because they are that special, I think.
And I'll let one thing slip. One thing slip.
So good.
I'll let one. This is very important, right? And this will get covered on mixed phones because I know we will get them, right? These are the headphones that we believe are arguably the closest to Emra's engineer target out of the box. That's,
I didn't know that bit. Okay.
Yeah, very, very
That's
close to Emra's engineer target out of the box. Like we were shocked when we managed to get the frequency response and we stuck it side by side.
Of course, we have seen that, haven't we? Yeah, I was still when I had my Mojo running through them, I was still boosting.
Yeah, still needs still needs a low boost. They all do,
yeah,
by
like
Dan
2
Clarke's.
dB or something. That's just a planar thing, isn't it? It's a planar thing.
But yeah, because there is a bit of a bass lift in them, but it's not a lot of bass needed. It's these may be one of the best headphones because in regards to, well, it's funny. No, when I had them, I looked at them and I was like, wow, the fucking price of these is perfect. And then I remember looking at them going, wow, the wood in these is like real wood. It's beautiful. And then it reminded me when we had Streaky on the podcast and it was like a game of who could have the best headphones on their head.
I'm not going to be out headphoned.
Honestly, I was like going, in my head I was like, if I get these, we're getting Streaky back on the podcast just so me and you can have the peacocks on our head. Like, fuck you, Streaky. We'll love you, but fuck you. Because they are just gorgeous. Mwah.
Yeah, they just pull out the X5s or something, wouldn't they? No, LCD5, sorry.
Mate, nothing can like beat the looks of those. And again, I think Simwise done amazing. So yeah, that was CanJam, that was GearFest.
Hey there, Ed here. You may recognise my voice from doing all the other DistroKid advert segments. This time I didn't want to just do a typical advert talking about stuff to do with DistroKid. I actually wanted to give you my feedback about the service because I genuinely do use DistroKid for uploading my music. And I know Paul does, and it turns out Dan Worrell does as well. I've used DistroKid since 2019. As you can see on the screen, I have 6 releases so far. It is genuinely super easy to use. The tracks get into Spotify within 24 hours, which is remarkable. Apple Music takes a little bit longer. I'd suggest giving that 10 to 14 days. The hyperfollow links are really useful for advanced promotion of your tracks, and the promo cards are really great visual aids for social media promotion. Ooh, I particularly like that one. DistroKid collect all the royalties from your streaming services, and here you can find an itemized breakdown of where all your income has come from. There's also a DistroKid referral where you can save your friends $10 per sign-up by creating your own VIP referral link.
And then after that, after me and Ed went to the boozers and stuff like that, when Emra went home and stuff, we then got chatting about our business venture that we are going to start taking very, very, very seriously. We are going to finally have Paul Thorne and Ed Thorne together. Not like, by the way, this isn't me saying that like, I'm going to leave my wife and me and him are like going to like jump away in the sunset and we're now a couple. But we are going to be
in the studio. We won't get any work done. This is already a bad idea.
We are now going to be an audio couple, right? We are now going to come together and we are going to offer our services together. Paul Thorne, Ed Thorne, coming together. Use it all. Finally, if you want to pay us, are going to get a Paul Thorne and Ed Thorne combined mix. We're not going to go into full detail about how we do things, but yeah, all you need to know is that we are thinking about, the website, and we are thinking about pricing and, marketing and all of that great stuff, but it's going to happen. Like, it's not a thing where it's maybe going to happen, it's going to happen. And that was genuinely a conversation we had as soon as Emra flew back to Sweden. We were just in Ed's flat. And we were just like, right, we need to speak about this.
In the dark.
I know, genuinely, it was that long. We're like, shit, it's dark now. But after,
it was fine.
After like a 45 to an hour conversation, we knew straight away it was the right decision. Nick from Panorama Mastering was WhatsApping us, earlier in the week saying, boys, you have to do this. You have to do this. And after chatting about it, it makes absolute sense.
Oh mate, you boys have to do this. That's more of a Kiwi, isn't it?
Tracy, what the fuck is that? Shrimp on a barbie. No, I would do shrimp on a barbie. Right. Paul and Ed, I think that you two should really consider like doing I really think the business idea is I can't do it. Fucking can't do it.
God, that's not a bad impression of Nick,
No, what it is? It's like I've always found to doing accents. You need a phrase to lean you in. So like if it's Welsh, it's Robbie Savage, or it's like no man, like from from Fireman Sam. But if it's like shrimp on a barbie, like the Barbie, or like came here for love, and then you can normally get it.
All right, mate.
All right, mate. Shrimp on a barbie.
I tend to go between Kiwi and Aussie, but I mean,
Sorry, Nick. I will be able to do a good Aussie accent at one point.
He can get his own back when he comes on the podcast, which is happening soon.
Yes.
So that business is happening. We have to. I mean, this is a little bit premature, Paul. You know, you're showing you've been married for a while here, coming out with the information so quickly, because there are quite a few teething issues we need to iron out. But in theory, it's all there, and then we need to do a practice mix. And anyway, more details will follow on that. We'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Please let us know. Anyway, on Monday we went to Mix London, which is the home of Jay Reynolds, who has mixed album tracks for Dua Lipa, and our friend Al Lawson, who is an Atmos and recording dude. Always good fun to chat with them, and it was nice to meet Jay for the first time. Thank you for having us, gents.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I got to hear the Genelec setup. I also got to hear Al's Atmos Genelec setup, which again was interesting because it's very different to mine. So again, it was good to hear other Atmos setups. But we always
anyway,
loved
moving on from Atmos as quickly as we can. Then we went to Leo Sargon's studio. Leo, who we had on recently, and He's the Del Boy of audio. He has his fingers in many pies.
He does, yeah.
He's managing artists. He's managing artists at venues. He's DJing. He does a bit of live sound, and he mixes and masters. And we heard his studio that he built in his house, which is a remarkable achievement of acoustic engineering. And there were a set of Amphions, the 115s, which I know and love. And we were listening to some music, and we agreed that he uses them for the same reason I think they're great, which is that they highlight if you have too much low end in a mix. But I'll let Paul explain what the man of the match was there, because I'm going to say it, Paul, I think you found the speaker for you.
Speaker for life, mate. Yeah, the K3s, which is unbelievable, because if we were to look at at last year's video around this time, we heard the K3s, we heard them in a room that wasn't fully optimized, and we slated them, and we were like, I don't understand why everybody raves about these. Sounded horrible. Yeah, they were so underwhelmed. And then you go into Leo's studio, which has been properly acoustically treated by professionals. He's got Trenov in there as well. And straight away, I just sat in front of it, and I knew straight away that this was the speaker for me. And one of the main reasons I knew straight away was because when I listened to mixes that I'd done on my website, the headphone to speaker translation was just there. How my mixes sounded like in my headphones when I mixed them is the way that they came out on the keys. But even better, like the low end is incredible. The transient response is thick. It's like Audeze kind of thick transients. And the top end, oh God, the top end is just the correct top end. It's just beautiful. It's smooth, but still got details in it, not distracting. It's forward. The phantom center's incredible. Everything about it just spoke to me and was like, this is it. This is everything that I want when I listen to my headphones that I wish I had in speakers and more, is the K3s. Fucking remarkable.
Just a shame they're 13 odd grand for a pair. So Paul's got a few headphone review videos to do first before he can afford them. But did that give you a goal? Did that give you something to aim for?
I think the good thing for me now is that having the PMC 226s in this room, having heard again the PMCs again, the really expensive 135 grand ones in Tile Yard, I now understand the PMC sound, and I now understand why a few people have said to me that it's not for me and it's not for them. PMCs are fun. They're like arguably like the funnest speakers you'll ever hear in your life. If you want to like enjoy music and just bob your head and just be like, just enjoy it and just impress clients, like PMCs are arguably the best at that. When I had the 226s in here, I was like, yeah, records just sound like records in here. But they're very fun, and I don't find them as honest as, say, the MTM Precisions that I've got. Where with the keys, man, the keys are, Yeah, the keys are still fun, but it's just accurate for me. And again, very low distortion as well. Again, lots of headroom in them, considering that Leo didn't have the sub because his room is quite relatively small. But again, the sub in there was fantastic. And then having Trinov on and off, they still sounded amazing. They did sound, slightly better with Trinov on, but they still sounded amazing. I could have learned that sound without Trinov. But Leo's done an exceptional job on that room.
Yeah,
and it was
really has,
interesting hearing his vocals, because I was reminded why I'm not the biggest vocal fan, because again, the vocals sound a little bit hi-fi for me. And again, they're fun sounding. But again, that's why Leo uses them. He uses them when he's producing fun sounding speakers. And then I got to hear the Amphions, the 115s in comparison. And then I was reminded why Amphions aren't for me. The sound quality, I've heard them in like a few times now, and they do something very different. There's like a snap in the upper mids. There's like it's not like the upper mids aren't hyped. They just sound a little bit more upper mid range forward, and again the low end isn't there. The fucking hell, it's like night and day difference. But yeah, I just think when I heard the keys and I was listening to the vocals and back to the Amphions, I just knew straight away that Jesus Christ, I'm like my wife. I have very, very expensive taste, and it kills me when you hear that quality, because as I've said to everybody who moans about things are too expensive, when you hear it, you cannot unhear it.
Yeah,
now I've heard
and
it.
You've got to pay for quality.
Yeah,
I was even considering speaking to Jed, who once wanted to get the keys in this room for a demo, and I couldn't do it, make it happen for a few months, and then I gave up and bought the Amphions. I'd be tempted to maybe try them, but I have promised not to move anything around in this room. So maybe that's something for 2026, but I definitely can't afford them. So that's a decision I don't need to worry about. But for me, they were exactly as you said. They were banging, and your mixes sounded great on them. I A/B'd a mix I'd done, and immediately it was obvious because it translated to the Amphions perfectly, and it was like, well, this is obvious which one I've mixed on. And the keys highlighted a couple of things. One of which was in the upper mids, I think about 2K of the snare drum. There was on the keys, it was a really sharp transient that wasn't audible on the Amphions. And I know exactly what that was, because on that track I used Neutron Transient Designer. And I think I always had the sharp attack on that. And it was too much on the keys. It was really kind of piercing, but on the Amphions it wasn't cutting through as much, which is interesting because I'm clearly mixing for energy on the Amphions, which I have to drive quite hard to come through, and then on a speaker capable like the keys. Now this is something I'm not so worried about, because I don't think there's any speaker capable of the keys like this. It was highlighted by the keys, and as we turn those up above 90, for me, Paul mentioned it might be the Fletcher-Munson curve where the top end got a bit you hear the top end and low end a bit more, or the perception of that changes. This for me wasn't that. This was as the volume went up at 2K, there was a bell all of a sudden arising, and Leo agreed with me. And I think it was that was a little bit uncomfortable for me in my ears. But
as we said, you wouldn't listen that loud anyway.
So.
Yeah, you wouldn't listen that loud anyway.
And also, it's another way of highlighting a potential flaw, because there may be a PA system at a festival where that is a thing.
Good point.
So it's like anything. It's good to be aware of all these different nuances.
But the question is, Ed, right? Because I know that, again, you went through the big speaker journey. Out of all the speakers you've heard, would you put the keys now top of what you've heard, or are you on the fence whether to put them in the top spot or not?
I want to put the Alcons and the keys next to each other.
I agree. Yeah, they do different things there.
Yeah, I think the keys are going to win the punch and the bite
100%.
battle, but the Alcons are just something terrific. But then it's like anything, until you're mixing on them, and you're discovering the flaws in them, it might be that the Alcons are the perfect hi-fi speaker, and it's not really the thing for mixing. I don't know. But it also might be with the cardioid array that the keys work in this room. You never know. That's at the back of my mind now.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that, because it was funny because I said to Ed, "See, in a perfect world, me and Ed both." When I said this, Ed just looked at me and was like, "Oof." If you had keys on the inside and Alcons on the outside. That would be the fucking end game, man. That would be it. You'd have all of the timbre and all of the realism and all the width and all the spaciousness from the Alcons, and then you'd have all the punch and all the forwardness from the keys. And if you couldn't, honestly, if you had the two of them and you fucking couldn't mix a record on that, just give up. Just give up.
Yeah, the only problem with the keys is, though, because of the cardioid array and the subs on the side, you can't have anything ideally within a foot either side of them. Because I was thinking, ooh, keys and my 218s, that's a combination. But I think Leo's got probably the best solution where he's got his 115s above his keys.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, lots to think about. We got to hear our mixes on different systems, which is educational, lots to assimilate. I've got a few things I need to address monitoring-wise in the studio for better translation. I'm dying to get hold of these Sendy audios. I think that's going to be an email I'm going to do later today. And yeah, it was a fun, educational, inspiring, opportunistic weekend, I feel. So I think we did well.
And before we go, again, just like to give a few shout outs to people that I met and had really good conversations with, because again, it's as much as it's good to talk about the gear, I had some really, really, really great chats with some people. So I'll give a shout out to Sean from Studio Life. You'll know them as the Is It Shit guys. But I'm going to call it Studio Life because that is the channel. But yeah, I spoke to Sean twice and very, very, very good conversations we were having. Again, conversations that I think could maybe lead to a few interesting projects in the future. So that, again, I'm really great. I really loved meeting Sean. And again, Mark and James, as always. Again, I always love bumping into Mark and James. And obviously we bumped into our Lord, our Lord and Saviour, Mr. Marvellous himself, Warren Hewitt. As always, you always bump into Warren. And obviously, boys from the Discord. So again, it was great to meet Tyrone again. Well, we love meeting Tyrone all the time. We've got all the time in the world for Tyrone. Again, we met Taz, again, Martin, and we met the infamous Benj. We finally met the infamous Benj, didn't we?
Yes. I had to buy him a pint because I was like, you're our biggest fan, commenting every week. Let me buy you a drink. Yeah,
legend. Benj is a legend. I think, obviously Al Lawson, again, Al, thank you so much for having us down there. And again, thanks to Jay as well, because again, we had a great chat with Jay Reynolds as well, who has mixed, some fucking top names. Top names. And again, thank you to Leo for all your stories. And again, you will see Leo again on this podcast at some point again, because a man's just got so much wisdom. His episode is still one of the best of all time. Again, thank you for Emre for putting up with us for the time that we did. He genuinely stayed in a hotel just like 10 minutes up the road. So yeah, he stuck with us the whole time. And again, Emre, again, thank you for the food. Oh my God, Ed, we were treated like kings food-wise, weren't we? We ate well, ladies and gentlemen, them days. We ate
like
well.
At Nam, but in London.
We ate well. Lots of meat, though. Jesus. Between Emre and Leo, lots of meat. Lots of meat we ate. But honestly, I think thanks everybody for your hospitality as always. Again, thank you for everybody that we met. Again, Sam from Make Noise Pro Audio. Again, Paul Ashmore, Dale from SX Pro. Again, Chris and the guys from Audient, Chris and Andy from Audient. I love, honestly, one of my highlights is meeting Chris and Andy from Audient because they're just such top guys.
Yeah, they're the nicest guys in the industry.
Nice. Never. If I have forgotten anybody, again, I apologise. Ed, was there anybody, again, that you would like to give a shout out to that you met?
Yeah, my mate Justin, who came down from Norfolk.
Justin. They're fucking hell. I'm forgetting now. Yeah, Justin.
Piero as well, and Julian, whose studio I'm seeing on Friday. We're going to do some three-way mix things together, kind of testing each other and a bit of a competition between the three of us. And Ansi from Amphion. Sorry if we're forgetting anyone else. We literally could not go 10 meters without meeting people. So we've literally spoken to hundreds of people this weekend.
I know. Freddie from Head as well. Man, how nice is Freddie? Freddie is such a nice guy.
Mark Gittins. Benny Dunville as well. Finally got to meet him properly in person.
Everybody, man. Everybody. Now,
Ramesh from Control Room. Thank you for the beers.
See, this is why you should go. Look, just take that final bit as a reason why you should go to GearFest. Right? That's why you should go to GearFest. The people that you meet is just unbelievable. And again, and Mark Gittins, again, I messaged him. again, if you are watching this, Mark, thank you very much for the convo, even though I did send you a message. That man understands Atmos very well, even though it bores him to absolute tears. But yeah, I'm gonna really, really dive deeper into Atmos in the next 6 months, because he unconsciously raised a mirror up to me and was like, yeah, I was looking at myself in the conversation going, I'm not where I need to be, and I genuinely have just almost built an Atmos studio and then fucking left it. So I'm going to put a lot more work into it, and yeah, I'm going to not say anything to Ed because he's the most rudest person if you mention Atmos, but yeah, that's going to be good as well. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for taking out your time to chat with us, and yeah, and if I've forgot anybody, apologies, but there's so many people we met, and yeah, I don't know if we'll do it next year, because we're maybe at NAMM. Me and Ed are still mulling it over.
Come
on,
I don't know. We'll be doing GearFest, because we might have our own stall next year, for all we know. Paul hates the idea, but I'm adamant one year we'll have a stall there. I will be at GearFest next year, but yes, I am debating whether I can justify going to NAMM. Here's one for you, Paul. This is one to end on, right? The cost of going to NAMM could be a fair contribution to your set of key speakers.
No way. If you think that going to NAMM costs fucking anywhere close to like 12 grand or how much,
contribute, like, so flights and food and accommodation, call it 2 grand.
Right, okay.
You might get a discount, you might not pay full price for the keys, I don't know.
No. As we said,
or is the networking opportunities more valuable? Okay.
100%. The people are more important than the gear, and if we did go to NAMM, it would be GearFest, but fucking times it by 10.
That's a quote for our book. The people are more important than the gear.
There you go, and that's how we'll end it. Thank you. Godspeed. Everybody,
It's been emotional.
Ed Thorne. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.